think it was like the year 2000, 2001. We're playing Great Battle 2, and my dad is even commenting on the fact that here we are all these years later, and we're still playing this game. Like it was something that even he knew, like this was one of our favorite games to play together, and so many years later, it still held our attention.
We've got videotape of this exact game being played by two guys who are like 8 years old.
But first, a word about this video's sponsor, Exter. When I was a kid, my dad spent a lot of money on video games. In the years before online shopping and digital currency, all the games he bought for me were either cash or card, and he carried it all around with him in a beat-up, old and faded wallet. If only we had Exter back in those days. Exter is known for inventing the first trackable wallet, and now they're on a mission to upgrade the rest of your carry essentials. Exter wallets are half the size of conventional wallets, but they carry over 12 cards and cash. A built-in RFID blocker protects you from data theft and wireless skimming. Solar-powered tracking lets you track your wallet's location from your phone. You can access all your cards at the click of a button with the signature trigger mechanism. I've partnered with Exter to give you an exclusive discount, so enjoy up to 25% off using my code or link. Just go to shop.exter.com/myretrolife and use code RETRO. What's up, guys? It's your buddy Tyler coming at you with a brand new video here on My Retro Life. And join with me today is actually my oldest friend, Brian.
Happy to be here as an adult to record some stuff.
The Great Battle series was a Super Famicom exclusive series left in Japan. And this was a series of games that basically were these like chibi, cute versions of Ultraman, of Gundam, of Kamen Rider, and then also a brand new character that Band Presto actually created. Dad and I had imported the first game that we ever owned for that series, which was Great Battle 2, also known as Last Fighter Twin. And do you remember when I got that? Do you remember like the first time we ever played that together?
The first time, I think like you guys introduced me to it, and it really just blew my mind. We could play Japanese games that weren't released in the US, and it was a beat 'em up, a 2-player beat 'em up, and we had, we loved that genre anyways. We used to play a lot of Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, TMNT. So for us to get into the other beat 'em up, it was such a ride. Like we had such a good time with it. And yeah, I mean, it would be a game we would come back to very often. And even going into like the later years where we had like Saturn and PlayStation and things like that, we'd still be coming back to the Super Nintendo game, Super Famicom game.
It's on video, Dad and Mom giving me this game, Great Battle 2, Last Fighter Twin, on my 6th birthday. And that would have been like right after I got Golden Axe 2. So I know that you and I were probably playing a lot of Golden Axe 2 around this time. And here was this like Super Nintendo Japanese only game that was like another kind of Golden Axe type of beat 'em up. I know that, us using the magic, in the game, you get to use magic that you collect in these little orbs. And it's a lot like collecting the magic potions in Golden Axe to fill your magic meter. You unleash these magic blasts.
It has the same kind of spell mechanic. And it was just always fun for us to try all the different spells from the 4 different characters. And what I actually remember a lot of too, man, is the game had a password system, and it wasn't like a typical 1, 2, 3, 4 alphanumeric password system. It was like the 4 characters' faces, and they were facing forward, left, right, or back. And so we had to come up with like a password scheme to write it down on a paper. And do you remember this? We used to write down like Ultraman front, cat back.
Yeah.
Like, bug left,
Yep.
robot right, or whatever.
It was so funny because we didn't know these characters. It was interesting. Like other than Ultraman, we really didn't know who these characters were growing up in the United States. Characters like Kamen Rider and Gundam even were not really that popular.
Yeah, we called Kamen Rider Bugman.
Really is one of the first Super Famicom games, import games, that we ever had, that Dad and I collected. And
It was one that we came back to a lot. I would say maybe one of the games we came back to the most. I mean, there were some staples, but this one was really just like, I don't know, it was just something that really made sense to us. Like, it was something we really liked.
I think we used to put a lot of imagination into this game because there was no context. We didn't read Japanese. We didn't know half the characters in the game other than Ultraman. And I think it really opened up our young imaginations to just like kind of create.
Oh yeah, I feel like we would make our own story to it, because it did have like little cutscenes, if you remember, between the levels.
Yeah.
And we obviously had no idea what the dialogue was, but we would come up with something. And you know what else was really cool? It had like branching story paths. There were certain levels that you could clear in 2 different ways, and it would take you to different places. Like, it was like multiple branching paths.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the third game. I remember specifically the front cover. It was this golden kind of cover. It looked like it was like a game, a Super Famicom game, etched in gold the way the box art was. It looks so cool, and it stood out in my entire collection back then. It really stood out. They're all dressed up in like medieval garb. They're all dressed up and look like you're in a different time period. It's no longer like outer space. Now they're in like medieval times. And this game in the series like further cemented that whole, it's like they leaned further into the Golden Axe vibe that they were going for in the second game, and now they're actually putting you in that time period.
I love the sword and sorcery type imagery. You know, the robot guy, I think he had a sword. Ultraman had like a mace. The cat guy was like an archer, and I think Kamen Rider had like a spear or something.
Yeah, you nailed it. That's exactly right.
Yeah. But I mean, I always thought that was cool. They all had weapons this time, because in the first or in Great Battle 2, they didn't have weapons. They just fist fought, you know?
Yeah, just with their punching all the time.
Yeah, they were punching and kicking, and now you had weapons, and I thought that was cool. The game looks great. It's probably one of the best looking games of the Super Nintendo.
For real, like looking back at this game, before we went to do this video, we were talking about recording this. I went back and I looked at the games, and especially this third game, Great Battle 3, this Golden Axe style game. It just looks beautiful. It's like, it's so detailed, and there's so many little nuances to like the lighting. Like one of the things that really stood out to me in looking at the game again was the shop. When you go to the shop, there's like this crazy glow of these lanterns in the background that keep like this pulsating glow. And it's this really amazing lighting effect that it really showed that they were really pushing themselves further. They were trying to do something special, I think, with these games.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just remember really enjoying the graphics, the art style. It was just a fun experience. And yeah, like 3, I don't remember part 3 as much as part 2. I feel like we played part 2 a lot more. But I do remember the time we did play 3, I really did enjoy it. Both games were a blast to me. And we love beat 'em up so much. I think it was just a winning formula that really just appealed to us.
Even my dad recorded us playing this game when we were teenagers. And this is probably a clip you've never seen, but I'm going to go ahead and show it now for the audience, for everybody watching. This is Brian and I, probably like age 14, 15, 16, that kind of range there. I think it was like the year 2000, 2001. And we're playing Great Battle 2. And my dad is even commenting on the fact that here we are all these years later, and we're still playing this game. Like it was something that even he knew, like this was one of our favorite games to play together. And so many years later, it still held our attention.
Two boys that were boys at one time are having a reunion as Brian Longobardi has come over to play old video games with Tyler that they once played when it was brand new. We've got videotape of this exact game being played by two guys who are like 8 years old.
Actually, I was
6. Of course, they're a little bit bigger now. Brian's about an inch taller.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh la la!
Well, we might lose it after our 0.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, we were playing it we were in high school or something and still playing it. When that was like the PS2 was probably out by then, and we were still on Great Battle, Super Famicom.
I think so much of the love for this game, stemmed from that love of beat 'em ups and specifically Golden Axe. And I think it's funny that the day that my dad was recording us playing it when we were teenagers, he also recorded us playing Golden Axe 3 on the Sega CDX console, which was the really tiny portable, almost looked like a Walkman Sega CD, Sega Genesis combo machine. And that was a console that he and I found at a pawn shop. We got it for like $20 back then. Amazing. We're seeing here playing Golden Axe 3, the Mega Drive import of Golden Axe 3 on that console, right after we were playing Great Battle.
So it's crazy. Like there's such a strong connection between those two series, especially for us.
I think the two of us just like it meant a lot to both of us playing it together. I know it was a game that I, over the years, came to identify with you, Brian. Like I would think of the game and like always think back on the memories of playing it with you because we just played it so much together, and all the sleepovers and all the different times you came over and hung out at the house and we were staying up late playing games, and usually this game was in the rotation. It always made an appearance on those nights, and
just a testament to how like important this game was to us. I don't know if you remember at your wedding as a groomsman gift, you actually gifted me the copy of Great Battle 2, and I still have it too.
I do. I remember it, and it's a special game. Well, thank you all for watching. Really appreciate you tuning in. It has been quite a stroll down memory lane, talking about the Great Battle series, this Super Famicom beat 'em up series, at least the second and third game in the series. They made for some really, really exciting games, and they were fun. And it was so cool as a kid to import these games and discover them, especially with a friend. Thank you guys so much for watching today. If this is your first time to the channel, please do consider subscribing. I love talking about my game crazy family and all the amazing adventures we shared with video games, so many of which were caught on tape by my dad. All right, that's it, guys. That's all we got. Thank you so much for watching. This is Tyler out, and again, with me, my buddy Brian.
See you, everybody.